My name is Amy Lee, and we're going to talk about the book that we're reading for spring 2024 for our Beyond the Degree Book Club book. And it is called Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. And Dr. Schneider, you're the one who inspired us to pick the book. What made you pick up the book?
It's funny actually. I was given the book as a gift from a friend of mine who lives in Oregon at the beginning of the pandemic. We had been talking about how the interactions with people have changed over time from when we were growing up in rural North Ridgeville and everyone knew everybody, and how now you get home from work at 5 o'clock, the garage goes up, the car goes in, the garage goes down, and nobody sees anybody. We were talking and he says, you really got to try this book. And I had never read anything by him before. So it was I was interested in it. And when I started listening to it, I have a tendency of listening to podcasts rather than reading books. And I would picked up the podcast and was hiking with the dogs and took a couple extra laps to get through a couple chapters because it was just every chapter had something different to make me think about the way that we talk to strangers now. So I thought it was an excellent book. I thought there was a lot of applications to, public health and life in general, and that's why I recommended it.
Thank you. I've read a lot of Malcolm Gladwell, Blink, Tipping Point, Outliers. For students who haven't read any Malcolm Gladwell, all these books really kind of make you think. And so, by the way, all three of us are going to be writing questions for this book discussion. And Dr. Allensworth Davies, I was just wondering how you think you might use the book or how students might use the book in their future or current careers.
So what I find really interesting about this book is I think in our culture we have a real code against trusting strangers, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers. And what I really love about this book is at its heart, it's really exploring why we trust people or why we don't trust people and what the consequences of that could be. And I think, especially in the public health context, our discipline is so altruistic and so focused on the health of individuals and communities that I think we sometimes forget that even within our discipline, we may have people in our lives who are more trustworthy than others. And even looking at some of the past atrocities associated with public health, such as the Tuskegee study, those patients trusted those researchers and had faith that those researchers were there to help them with their issues with syphilis. And then it turned out that that trust was very much misplaced. And so I think understanding better why we as human beings feel the need to trust or not trust people is it's a human trait. It's at the core of our being. And I think it's something that can help inform how we shape communities and grow communities going forward.
Thank you. As I've let you know, hopefully through Wednesday tips and when I infiltrate some of your classes, maybe this weekend on Saturday. We do want to warn you that there are some very sensitive subjects that are discussed. And also, Dr. Allensworth Davies had a great recommendation on the format for you to read and absorb the book.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and downloaded this as an audiobook.
You do.
And the reason why I think this is really the preferred way to review the book is because Malcolm Gladwell really sets it up like an NPR series.
Mhm.
And so he includes audio snippets and extracts from other sources as part of the audiobook that you're not going to see in the text version.
From the
So
real.
for that reason, if you're able to do this as
Right.
an audiobook, I highly, highly recommend that.
And that
And sort of
soundtrack.
go exactly.
Yeah.
And also to go back to the trigger warnings, a very strong trigger warning around suicide and suicidal ideation. And there may be a few more in there. And so just please keep that in mind as you're listening to the book. And if you're reaching a point where you're feeling uncomfortable, it's perfectly okay for you to pause or maybe even skip that section
Right.
if it's something that's really bothering you deeply. So our goal with this, again, is to help you grow as public health professionals, not to make you feel unnecessarily uncomfortable or bring back things from your past that you would rather not face again. And so if there are parts that do make you feel uncomfortable, do feel free to fast forward over those. I really don't see that that's going to impact your ability to
No.
answer the discussion questions.
And feel free to reach out to one of us as well. If,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you need some help about something. So all three of us who are writing questions for this book discussion hope that you enjoy this book. We have. Bye-bye.